Today on Alaskan Ballistics, we're going to see which 22 caliber can is the best. We've got 9 of them here. We've got one more on the way that's still in jail. Stay tuned. Let's get started. Welcome back to Alaskan Ballistics. My name is Chuck. We also have Brian and Brandon here today from Arctic Ammo and Reloading, or formerly Brandon Arctic Ammo and Reloading. We got all together and we pulled all of our 22 cans together, and we've got 9 of them here, and we're just going to show you some of the most popular ones here. Some of them are old and out of date. One of them is a 5.56 can that's really small, but a lot of these are going to be really good. I want to say a special thank you to Brandon and Brian for bringing their cans, first of all, in Arctic Ammo Reloading, who has helped me out with the Garmin chronograph as well. But I want to say a thank you to Banish, who sent out the suppressor to the channel. Then Anechoic also sent out one, premium titanium can. Discount code Alaskan. I want to thank Faxon, Anechoic, Banish, Wyoming Arms for sending the cans out to the channel to test our testing method. We're going to do 5 supersonics. We've got CCI, AR Tactical, 22s. These feed really well. They're a lot like the CCI mini mags, very similar. And then I've got CCI suppressor loads. Those are 45 grain, going about 970. And they are my favorite hunting load for a suppressor load. So if you use CCI quiet, semi-auto, or quiet, it would get a little bit quieter, but I'd rather use something more practical that I've seen knock down squirrels and knock down grouse very, very easily. So I'd rather use that in the testing. So that's why we're doing these 2 rounds, and it's still a very quiet round. We're using 4 different firearms. We've got a 5.5 inch Smith & Wesson Victory, an 8.5 inch 1022. It's actually an SBR. Then we've got a Tippmann semi-auto, and we've got a Savage Mark II bolt action. Both of those are 16-inch barrels. And first we're going to shoot 5 supersonics and 5 subsonics out of each gun without a suppressor, and then we're going to do the same thing with every suppressor here. So that's exactly how we're going to test. So downrange we have the Nikon camera, DSLR D7100 with the Rode microphone, picking up how it sounds from in front of the gun, in front of the shooter, about 15 yards downrange from where the shooter is standing.
So that's the Rebel, right?
That's the Rebel.
Who makes that?
Rebel did. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're still made or not, but it was a pretty good can for the cheap money.
And that's a Silencer Co. Spectre 2, no longer produced. This was the cheaper budget option from Silencer Co. back in the day. Okay, so this is the Silencer Co. Sparrow. We have a rugged Oculus, my personal favorite, the Huxworks Float 22, the Dead Air Mask, my second favorite, an Optus Micro from Griffin Armament, which is labeled a 5.56 can, so that should be pretty good. I'm kind of curious how it does on a 5.56. The Banish 22, and then the Anechoic 22.
And we've kind of got them lined up by MSRP. We're not going to mention that on YouTube, of course, but that is the deal. We got the Faxon in there now. We got the Wyoming in there now. All right, let's get started with the test. All right, Brandon is shooting the Smith & Wesson Victory, 5 supersonics, 5 subsonics, no suppressor. Didn't hold open on the last shot. All right.
Although I think that was me. I think I was riding the release.
All right, we have the 8-inch Ruger Charger. It is a legal SBR. 5 supers, 5 subs, and no suppressor. Awesome, clear. Awesome, clear. clear. Brandon is shooting the Tippmann 22, 16-inch barrel, no suppressor. That was 5 supers. And that was 5 subs. You could tell the difference of supers and subs. The other 2 shorter barrels, you couldn't really tell.
I could feel it in the recoil impulse.
That was 5 supers. And that was 5 subs. And all right, Brandon's got the Savage Mark II bolt action. Got 5 supers and 5 subs. Go ahead, Brandon. Brandon's got the Rebel on the Smith & Wesson Victory, 5 supers, 5 subs. Jam. That gun is very particular suppressed.
It spits a little bit too.
I think you're into subs now, even though you've only taken 3 shots.
I just lost one.
That was jamming too. Also didn't hold open. Yeah, so let's take 2 more super shots. Let's take 2 more shots of super. I'll get you the ammo. All right, Brandon's going to be shooting his 2 supers that he dropped. Awesome.
Hold on.
Jam. That gun is very particular suppressed.
It spits a little bit too.
I think you're into subs now, even though you've only taken 3 shots.
I just lost one.
That was jamming too. Also didn't hold open.
That was me.
Yeah, so let's take 2 more super shots. All right, Brandon's going to be shooting his 2 supers that he dropped. Awesome. All right, Brandon's got his own SBR, official SBR Ruger 1022 Charger, 8.5-inch barrel, Rebel can, 5 supers, 5 subs. That was awesome. Very hearing safe. Very hearing safe. We're leaving our hearing protection on because of YouTube's rules, but we are, it's still very hearing safe without it. right, Brandon's got the Rebel can on the 16-inch Tippmann M422. Go right ahead, Brandon. 10-round magazine, 5 supers, 5 subs. You could really hear the difference between the subs and the supers. Subs seem loud. The supers seem louder in that gun than the shorter ones for some reason. You could really hear the difference between the subs and the supers. Subs seem loud. The supers seem louder in that gun than the shorter ones for some reason.
Longer barrel, more velocity.
All right, we've got the Savage Mark II bolt action, Rebel suppressor. This is actually its Rebel's home where it lives. We're going to do 5 supersonic and 5 subsonic. Should be subs now. That's just stupid quiet. Subs now. That's just stupid quiet. Here, Brandon has the Silence Co. Spectre and the Smith & Wesson Victory. This Victory is very particular with feeding, so we'll see if it feeds better with this suppressor. 5 supers, 5 subs. Go ahead, Brandon. Dead round. And throw one more in there. There we go. Dead round. And throw one more in there. Brandon has the Silencer Co. Spectre with a Ruger 8.5-inch 1022 Charger SBR. It is a legal SBR. All right, that was 5 supers and 5 subs. Not bad. Not bad at all. The super seemed really loud in that.
Yeah, there were a couple that cracked pretty good.
Yeah, it might have been some powder charge issues at CCI. You never know.
No.
All right, Brandon's got the Tippmann with the Silence Co. Spectre on it. Tippmann Arms, M422, 5 supers, 5 subs. Go ahead, Brandon. I think that can does really good on subs, but the supers were really loud again.
That's pretty good subwise though for an AR platform 22.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, Brandon. All right, Brandon has the Savage Mark II with the Silencer Co. Spectre, 5 supers, 5 subs. All right, very quiet on the subs, a little loud on the supers still, but it was still good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
All right, very quiet on the subs, a little loud on the supers still, but it was still good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
All right, Brandon has the Silencer Co. Sparrow on the Smith & Wesson Victory, 5 supers, 5 subs. Go ahead, Brandon. I did not hear a difference between the two. That first round pop was bad.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I noticed the first round shot.
Yeah, that can's known for having a first round pop, but the rest of them, I couldn't tell the difference between the subs and the supers. All right, Silencer Co. Sparrow, 5 supers, 5 subs. Brandon's got his SBR here. And Silencer Co. Sparrow, go ahead, let it ring, Brandon. Now that one had a much greater difference between the supers and the subs. Definitely did a great job on the subs. First round pop on the supers was still there. But it was pretty good. It just does a pretty good job.
Yeah, the Sparrow does a really good job for being more of a budget-friendly suppressor.
Absolutely it does. All right, we got the Tipman Arms, M422, and the Silencer Co. Spectre. Sparrow, Silencer Co. Sparrow, my bad. You put 6 supers in there and 4 subs.
Nope. It was 5 and 5.
But yeah, that first sub though sounded really loud.
That was really loud, but that was 5 and 5. That was a sub. I don't know why that one was so loud, but that was a sub.
I don't know, but it seemed to sound louder on the Tipman than it
did
the Ruger.
Yeah, it definitely sounded louder on the Tipman. I don't know if it's the action or... Brandon's got the Silencer Co. Sparrow, 5 supers, 5 subs, and on the Savage Mark II with the AccuTrigger and a Blackhound optic scope. That sounded really good. Those supers were just stupid quiet in that. Or the subs were stupid quiet in that. The supers were a little loud because they're getting a lot more velocity out of that barrel.
Yeah, that barreling.
That sounded really good. Those supers were just stupid quiet in that. Or the subs were stupid quiet in that. The supers were a little loud because they're getting a lot more velocity out of that barrel.
Yeah, that barreling.
Yep, but they were stupid quiet.
Gotta love a bolt gun.
All right, Brandon's got the Smith & Wesson Victory, and this is the Rugged Oculus. He thinks this one's the best. I don't know. We'll bet him on that maybe. 5 supers, 5 subs. Jam. Sometimes the safety turns back on.
I'll grab that one in a second.
I'm gonna be honest with you, all of those sounded the same. All of those sounded the same.
Because it's the best.
So we had a dead round. Is that a super or a sub?
Super.
Super? You wanna go fire one more super? Go ahead. Dead primer. Yeah, that one had just a little bit more noise than the rest of them. That's it. Magazine safety is a Smith & Wesson.
I was actually just hoping it was going to take the casing out because 8 casings in it.
That was a sub?
No, that was the first super that didn't go off the first 2 times.
Oh, wow. That one sounded pretty good, too. 5 supers, 5 subs. Jam. Sometimes the safety turns back on.
I'll grab that one in a second.
We had a dead round. Is that a super or a sub?
Super.
Super. Magazine safety is a Smith & Wesson.
I was actually just hoping it was going to take the casing out because 8 casings in it.
That was a sub?
No, that was the first super that didn't go off the first 2 times.
All right, Brandon's got the Rugged Oculus and his SBR 1022, and he's going to let it rip. 5 supers, 5 subs. There's definitely some powder charges, like that 5th super sounded just as quiet as the subs. It was like, you know, 22 powder charges are not consistent most of the time in most ammo, even in CCI, like, which is one of the better quality ones. You'd have to go up to Ely or something to get really consistent.
Yeah, Ely or SKS.
All right, Brandon's got the Rugged Oculus on my M422 from Tipman. Go ahead, 5 supers, 5 subs. Man, those supers were loud. You could tell those were loud, But the subs, it did a really good job with those subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 16-inch barrel, they're getting some velocity on those supers.
5 supers, 5 subs. All right, Rugged Oculus, and we are on the Savage Mark II. Go ahead. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. It's a little, again, loud on the subs, on the supers because of the barrel length, getting a lot of velocity.
Get that extra velocity.
Yep, but really quiet on the subs. Go ahead. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, we got the Smith & Wesson Victory and the Huxworks Flow 22. Huxworks Flow 22, 5 supers, 5 subs. Only a really slight difference with supers and subs. Very slight, but both of them were very hearing safe. Both the supers and the subs. That was probably the best one on the supers so far.
That's pretty good for a flow-through suppressor.
Only a really slight 1022 Charger, Huxworks, 5 supers, 5 subs. Again, the supers were a little louder because of extra velocity than they were on the handgun, but it still did a really good job with the supers, and the subs was just a very slight difference in the sound with the subs.
And it kept, I didn't have an impact shift change at all. It kept them all in the center of that diamond.
Cool. All right, Brandon's got the Tippmann M422, 5 supers, 5 subs, Huxworks Flow through 22, Huxworks Flow 22. All right, so the supers were pretty loud, extra velocity. Supers were pretty loud, but the subs, a much greater difference than in the shorter barrels. Much greater difference. The subs sounded pretty darn good. They were hearing safe.
Oh, 100% hearing safe.
Huxworks Flow through 22. Huxworks Flow 22. All right, Brandon's got the Savage Mark II, 5 supers, 5 subs, and the Huxworks Flow 22 can. All right, very loud again with the supers, very quiet with the subs. I would say it was one of the quietest with the subs. Of course, they're all quiet with the subs. So. right, we've got, what can is this?
The Dead Air Mask.
Dead Air Mask, Smith & Wesson Victory 22. 5 supers, 5 subs. It's very quiet on both of them, really. Just a slight difference between the supers and the subs. Very good for can for that handgun in particular, especially.
Yeah, the Dead Air Mask does a really good job.
All right, we've got the SBR 1022 8.5-inch barrel, and we've got the Dead Air Mask. 5 supers, 5 subs. Sounded like you had a first round pop, and then your third round was also really loud. Powder charge inconsistencies. 22 just has a lot of powder charge inconsistencies. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I think those two were the powder charges.
Yeah, I think those were the powder charges because they both sounded the same. Yep. 5 subs. All right, we got the Dead Air Mask on the Tippmann M422. That was 5 supers. It did amazing on both of them. I think it did really good on the supers, but it really did good on the subs.
I'm really impressed with how well this gun suppresses.
All right, we got the Dead Air Mask on the Tippmann M422. That was 5 supers. All right, we've got the Dead Air Mask, correct?
Yep.
And it's on the Savage Bolt Action Mark II, 5 supers, 5 subs. Pretty quiet on the subs. Again, on the supers, not the best in the world, but not the worst either. That's for sure. It was doing a good job on both. Action, Mark II, 5 supers, 5 subs. All right, this is actually rated up to 5.56, but it is a 22 caliber can, good for 5.7 and all that stuff. This is the Griffin. Brandon, tell them again. I forgot.
Griffin Armament Optimus Micro.
Griffin Armament Optimus Micro. Here we go. 5 supers, 5 subs. Jam. All right, so it did jam on us, but it did pretty good. It did pretty good on the supers, I thought. It was kind of impressive on the supers, and you could tell the subs were just a hair quieter.
I was thinking it was going to do good just because it's rated up to 5.56, so it's got to have some kind of extra volume in there.
Yeah. Here we go, 5 supers, 5 subs. Jam. did jam on us, but it did pretty good. Okay, Brandon's got the SPR 1022 Griffin Optimus Micro. Really good, just a slight difference between supers and subs again. Okay, so the barrel length might have something to do with that, but it did a really good job on both of them. All right, we got the Griffin Optimus Micro on the Tippmann M422. Again, very quiet on the subs. Not as quiet as some of the other cans, but still very, very hearing safe on the subs. And the supers were a little bit louder because of the extra velocity, but they still did a number on the supers. They're not unquiet. They're just not as quiet as the subs. Very quiet on the subs. Not as quiet as some of the other cans, but still very, very hearing safe on the subs. All right, Brandon's got the Savage Mark II and the Griffin Optimus Micro, right?
Yep.
And we're gonna see how it is. 5 supers, 5 subs. That last one sounded like a dud almost. It was so quiet. Yeah, did pretty good on the supers and also did well on the subs.
I think it was a lot quieter with the supers on this gun than it was the AR.
Yeah, than it was on the Tippmann. You got action noise from the Tippmann too.
Yeah.
So. That last one sounded like a dud almost. It was so quiet. All right, here we go. Banish 22 on Smith & Wesson Victory. 5 subs, or 5 supers first, then 5 subs. Bad round. Again, like a lot of the other ones, there's a slight difference between supers and subs. It did really good on the supers, I thought.
Yeah,
I thought it did really good on the supers. Not bad at all. Bad round. All right, we got the 1022 SBR, Banish 22. Here we go. Those are 5 supers. And 5 subs. Did a really good job. I think I did a good job of both of them, to be honest with you. The supers were hearing safe.
A couple of them sounded a little louder, but that could have been powder.
Yeah. Those are 5 supers. And 5 subs. Did a really good job. Here we go, Tippmann M422, and 5 supers, 5 subs. Brandon is shooting it, and we have the Banish 22 can on it. Banish 22, here we go. Did an amazing job. I love that thing on my Tippmann on the Subsonics. It does a really good job on the Subsonics on the Tippmann. It's the first time I shot it with, or heard it shot with supers. It did okay. A lot of velocity in those supers in the long barrel, but with the subs, it did great. Brandon has got the Savage Mark II, 5 supers, 5 subs. This is the Banish 22 on it. Banish 22. I think that Banish wins the bolt action on the supers for sure, because they've all been really loud from right here anyways. I don't know about the downrange camera yet, but it was also very, very quiet on the subs. I think that Banish wins. All right, Brandon's got the Smith & Wesson Victory, the Anechoic 22, 5 supers, 5 subs. Jam. That thing is picky suppressed.
We'll double strike it.
Did not hold up on the last shot. That was you probably. So anyway, that actually did better than I thought it did with the supers. Yeah, and it sounded really good with the suppress too. May not be the quietest one out here, but it wasn't the loudest, I don't think, either. Jam. That thing is picky suppressed. All right, here we go. We got the SBR, Ruger 1022, 5 supers, 5 subs, Anechoic, Anachokes 22, Suppressor. Again, I think it did pretty decent on the supers and pretty good on the subs.
It has more felt recoil than the other cans do though with this gun.
Weird.
I can feel it more. It's slightly more, but it's enough more that I can feel it.
I think it did pretty decent on the supers and pretty good on the subs. All right, we got the anechoic on the Tippmann, 5 supers, 5 subs. Man, that anechoic is quiet on that Tippmann. That's like the best can for the Tippmann. Like the 2 combo is one of the best 1-2 combos there. Loud with the supers, but really good on the subs. Man, that anechoic is... All right, we got the anechoic Anachokes 22, and we have it on the Savage Mark II. Savage Mark II, 5 supers, 5 subs. Let it ring, Brandon. Sounding pretty good. That thing with subs is a really good can. It doesn't do great on the supers, but it's a really good can. And for 2.6 ounces, that's a heavy gun already. So you're not adding that much weight and making it unbalanced on the end like some of the heavier steel cans.
They have balance as well on the end instead of making it front heavy.
Yeah, and I know the anechoic cans, that one does, I've seen it happen, but at my centerfire one as well, they add accuracy. They tighten up groups, so pretty cool can. Sound pretty good. That thing with subs is a really good can. All right, Brandon's got the Smith & Wesson Victory and the Wyoming Arms 5 squared aluminum. Here we go, 5 supers, 5 subs. Yeah, Smith & Wesson being picky, isn't it?
Trying to do that without jacking it all the way out.
Is that a sub or a super?
Super.
And try to hit it again.
Yeah.
Smith & Wesson being picky, isn't it?
Trying to do that without jacking it all the way out.
Is that a sub or a super?
Super.
Try to hit it again.
Yeah.
All right, we got the SBR, Ruger 1022, and we've got the Wyoming Arms 5 squared aluminum can on it, supers, subs. Here we go. Again, did a really good job. It's a great can.
That's a great can.
Yeah, it's easy to clean, very lightweight. It's a good can. All right, Brandon has got the M422 from Tipman and the Wyoming Arms, 5 squared aluminum, 5 supers, 5 subs.
I really like this little can.
Yeah, it's a great little can, especially with subs. It's very quiet with subs. We might have to do a short comparing it to the Rugged Oculus and the Dead Air Mask. Like, it's that close to them. You know, it's right in there with the Banish. Close to them, if not beating them. All right, we've got the Savage Mark II and the Wyoming Arms. This is one of my favorite combinations right here. 5 supers, 5 subs. Go ahead, Brandon. That is amazing. Very, very soft on the subs. Tamed the supers to hearing safe as well.
Still sounds pretty good.
Still sounds pretty good. Smith & Wesson Victory, 5 supers, 5 subs, and a Faxon Suppressor, 22 can. Jam? Empty case coming out.
Yeah. It just got stuck on its way out.
Really good with the subs, and it's really good with the supers too. Like, it's hearing safe with the supers out of that gun.
We got one more, I can't count.
Okay, one more sub. Apparently I can't either.
Now we're empty.
Now we're empty. Now I can make my commentary, right? Yeah, what do you think?
It sounds really good with the subs. It sounds good with the supers, but it sounds really good with the subs.
Jam? Empty case coming out.
Yeah. It just got stuck on its way out. We got one more, I can't count.
Okay, one more sub. Apparently I can't either.
Now we're empty.
Here we go. We got the SBR 22 and the Faxon Suppressor, the 22 can. And we got 5 supers and 5 subs. Here we go, Brandon. Go let it ring. Now those supers were horribly inconsistent in sound, and that's probably powder charge. Has nothing to do with the Faxon can.
No, none of this can. It's definitely powder charge.
Yeah, because it's amazing how many, even CCI, how many bulk ammos. Got to go to Ely or SK or any of those.
Yeah, they make in small batches.
Yep, exactly. Great can though.
Yeah.
Sounded really good with the normal supers. It sounded really good. The one that had the extra powder in, that was kind of loud. But that's not the can's fault. It still tamed it and made it hearing safe.
Yeah, so I bet you it still wouldn't ring your ears.
Exactly. Here we go. We've got the Tipman arms and the Faxon 22 can. 5 supers, 5 subs. Go ahead, Brendan. Let it ring. Man, that thing was subs. It sounds good. Every can that we tried on the Tipman with subs sounds pretty dang good. The Tipman suppresses really well.
Yeah, the Tipman does suppress really, really well.
Yeah, even the action noise isn't that bad.
Yeah, this is a great suppressor host.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing you hear on a sub, if you're shooting it, is the action spring inside the buffer tube. Am I wrong?
Nope, all you hear is the buffer spring going back and forth.
Yeah, you don't hear the shot as the shooter. I hear it standing away from you, but you don't hear the shot as a shooter. It's pretty...
Nope, I hear the buffer spring, and then I hear the thwack when it hits the backstop. That's about it.
Yeah, and the backstop's 150 yards away, so that's a pretty good distance it's covering that we hear the hearing it hit. Yeah. And we got a pretty echoing chamber right here where we're sitting. There's trees here, trees behind us, and a hillside in front of us, so it echoes pretty good. And so that's why we're hearing it, and that's why we're trying to do all the tests in the same spot. But man, does that Faxon sound good. It tamed the supersonics well enough to not hurt your ears too. So it did a good job.
Yeah, I like it.
Here we go. We got the Faxon 22 can, like the dad joke bird. I like that. And 5 supers, 5 subs, and we've got the Savage Mark II. Let it rip, Brandon. All right, I barely got it in before the airplane was flying over to make too much noise. Really good on the subs, pretty good on the supers as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon. That is amazing. Very, very soft on the subs. Tamed the super. All right, this is our 3rd day of filming. We've got 5 cans out here this time. And I just want to thank the companies that sent these out to the channel. So thank you, Anechoic, Faxon, Wyoming Arms, and Banish. All great cans. All have their strengths. Very little weaknesses, but they have their weaknesses. They have their strengths. Great cans. I can't say enough of good things about them. I still think the Wyoming Arms is one of the best with supersonics. But the Faxon, now that the humidity came up today and it's a little bit warmer, the Faxon did better than it did the other day when it was a little bit cooler. So all those things factor into it. What would you say, Brandon?
Yeah, your humidity, your temperature, elevation, all those things are going to factor into the tone and the amount of noise that you take away or add with your can and your given ammo and given firearms, depending on all those factors.
And when you say all 4 of those cans, plus the Rebel, I mean, the Rebel did its job, right? They all sound great with subs.
Yeah, they all sound great with subs. They make supers more than hearing safe. Your ears don't ring.
Yep. The Wyoming Arms has a no first round pop with that baffle stack either. So that monocore, all aluminum baffle stack, it has no first round pop. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is really nice. I like the way that they designed that.
Yep.
Monocore.
And we discovered that the Faxon can kind of take a licking because we had to shoot it a couple of times. We actually had a bullet get stuck in the Faxon that wasn't powerful enough to make it out. And the Faxon was fine. The baffle strike, you can't even see the baffle strike that happened. Obviously, a baffle strike happened. The bullet hit a baffle, but it all got in there and it was fine. So the Faxon was robust and tough. It might be the toughest one out here. I can't believe the Faxon did that. It took a baffle strike and kept on going. There's not even a scratch on the inside.
Yeah, you couldn't even tell where it hit outside of the fact that it was stuck to the inside. Other than that, you would have never known.
Okay, guys. Well, that was very interesting and very illuminating. So out of all of them, I'm not going to say anything bad about them. They all suppress. They all make the rounds hearing safe. Some of them did better than I thought they were, like the anechoic did better than I thought it was going to do. All right, what about you, Brandon? You thought it did better too?
It definitely did better than I thought it was going to do.
Yeah, it did better. I knew it was a little louder than my Banish, but it actually did a really good job with the supers and the subs on different guns. And one of the things I wanted to mention is some of these are better on different guns. The Optimus Micro was better on the Smith & Wesson Victory than a lot of the other ones was, you know, because that huge volume and heavy steel can. They all did a good job. Some of them are louder and softer than others. I want you to put in the comments which one you think was the softest shooting, quietest shooting, on which gun. So go ahead and put it if you think the Rebel was softer on the Tipman and the anechoic was softer on the bolt action, and the SBR and the Victory had not a lot of difference between the subs and the supers because of the bullet slowing down a lot, which was
the shorter barrel lengths.
Yeah, it was just really good. Brian, you got anything to say? You've been quiet man over here.
I actually don't. I think there's a lot more to than just the sound suppression. It's also going to be the weight and the physical characteristics. But when I'm purchasing a suppressor, if it doesn't look good on a gun, I won't shoot it, even if it sounds great. I don't want to be seen with that.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I think that anechoic looks good on the Tipman. I think it looks really good on there.
Because it color matches?
Yes, yeah. The little darker green on the anechoic, but Tipman needs to get the crap together and make an actual OD green, not some sniper green like a PSA dagger. Yeah, I think they all have really, really good characteristics. This is the YouTube version. If you want to go through more of those characteristics and weights and all that kind of stuff, we're going to put that over on the Rumble version. But this is just the YouTube version of this. So go ahead and tell us what you think in the comments. Hopefully this gives you an idea of what they sound like on different guns, and that's all we wanted to do. We did decibel monitors, I'm sorry, are very, very expensive. And so if you make a decibel monitor, you want to see it on this channel, we'll redo this video with a decibel monitor, send it to the channel, and let us know. If you are a company who didn't get their can in here, I'm thinking GSL and Griffin. Griffin got one in here, but didn't get their actually dedicated 22, and CMMG. And if you didn't get yours in here, WhisperTech and Jaguar, I'll start collecting cans for a second video. So let us know. Thanks for watching. Godspeed and good hunting to all y'all.